So, here we are yet again with another video. It's been a while, but I have something I want to say, so I'm going to say it. So this video is about people revising history in order to, get to who have an agenda. So, history is constantly revised. As we gain more information from certain things, people get smarter and learn more shit. It's just the nature of humanity. For example, it used to be believed that the Great Pyramids of Egypt were built by slaves. Turns out they weren't. They were built by craftsmen who got paid a salary to build it. They were built over, decades. But it was a long-term building project, but it got done. There was little to no slave labor involved. So, the old story that this shit was made by slaves, bullshit. So, before we start talking about that, let's move on to the next section, which is what this this video is about. Which is basically, I'm just going to be talking about how revising history can be a good thing, but sometimes people revise history in order to hide the truth or to rewrite reality. So in this case, we're going to talk about someone revising history in a way that's like more than a little suspect. And in this regards, when I say revising history, I mean in regards to Nintendo. So without much ado, let's get into it after the cut. So let's get into it. What I mean by when you're intellectually bankrupt. Well, a lot of the innovations that people take for granted in video games were pretty much created by Nintendo. If you like modern gaming, whether you're a Sony gamer, Xbox gamer, you really love Sega, a lot of that shit kind of was set in place by Nintendo. People get mad, but these are facts, folks. These are facts. So, to give you an example of what I mean, take the D-pad, right? Everyone always loves the D-pad. Oh, the D-pad, the D-pad, the D-pad. Well, the D-pad is, as we know it has become a standard feature of video games. But before Nintendo, there was no D-pad. It's a standard thing now, but it didn't exist. So, there you go. Innovation. As a matter of fact, the standardized controller that both Sony and Microsoft have been using for their systems is at its base just a glorified SNES controller. Yeah, it's got an analog stick attached to it and all that shit, but every quote-unquote innovation of these controllers is just a derivation or just adding more shit to something that already existed. It's nothing new or innovative. But even those innovations themselves were pretty much created by Nintendo. L and R buttons, did that on Nintendo. Did that with the SNES controller. Rumble N64, analog stick N64. Rumble standardized on a controller. Basically, from the get-go, that was the N64, because don't forget, the original PlayStation controller did not have analog sticks or DualShock or / Rumble. So yeah, all those industry standards done by Nintendo. But if you were to listen to quite a few people who consider themselves to be authorities on games, they credit those things to different people, or they just don't talk about it. It's never mentioned, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Which leads to a second point, which I'll bring up next, which is the history revisions get old really quickly. It gets really, really friggin' old. And really boring. How many times can we listen to someone basically give us the same half-ass stories, the same boring-ass games, same boring-ass controls, and there's been no real innovation in the gaming industry unless it's coming from Nintendo. You could say, well, Microsoft with Xbox Live and all that shit, but those weren't really innovations. That was just bringing something that had existed on another platform, which was PC, to consoles. So really, no innovation from any of these other hacks, which is terrible. Because I mean, I don't know about you, but when I play video games, I prefer innovation. I want to see different shit. I don't want to see the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. But then again, I'm an old school gamer. I've seen enough shit to where I really don't want to see the same shit over and over and over and over again, because it gets too damn old too damn quickly. So that brings me to the third point, which is who are these people who revise history? Well, I mean, EA is a perfect example. Every time you see EA, they're always trying to make it seem like they're this core part of the video game industry. When, I mean, yes, as a huge third party, they are important, but really not as important as they would have themselves believe. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not important for them to exist. You know, it's good that they're there, but they aren't nearly as important as they would have people believe. I've heard various people from EA say that modern gaming began with the 6th gen, which is bullshit. Modern gaming began with the 3rd gen, but whatever. No one ever brings that up because it would be inconvenient. So that brings us to the fourth point, which is why would they want to revise history, discount the people who came before them? Well, it's a psychology thing. If you denigrate the contributions of others, it makes them seem less formidable. It disempowers them, makes them seem like punk ass little bitches. I mean, who's gonna be afraid of a company that's half-assed, you know, it doesn't really matter. They don't do anything cool or interesting. They're just some douchebags. But anyway, the really hilarious thing is that people don't seem to understand that gaming by its nature has to have innovation. If you don't have innovation, it stagnates. And I mean, I know a lot of people think that modern gaming is just the bee's knees, but really, this shit's stagnant as a motherfucker. We heard Shuhei Yoshida said that we need Nintendo in the industry. You damn right. Because they're the only fucking people pushing the industry forward. Because you fuckers ain't doing it. You just want to basically do the same shit over and over and over again. Or find new ways to bend over consumers and fuck them up the ass. Financially, that is. And or take advantage of them. So, this is the type of gaming we're dealing with nowadays. And it's sad. It's embarrassing. But what are you going to do? You know, what can you do? So, with that being said, I guess it's time to move on to the conclusion. So, what have we learned? We learned that a lot of developers and gamers and people within the gamosphere like to rewrite history to suit their needs and discount the contributions of Nintendo, which, I mean, look, that's their prerogative, but, I mean, they're doing a disservice to other types of gamers. So, with that being said, I guess we need to say that we need to fight this. But how? How do we fight this blatant disregard of reality? Well, maybe we could educate younger gamers so that they know they're being fed a line of bullshit. But what if they don't want to listen? I mean, because a lot of young folks don't want to listen. Maybe we could talk about what it means to be a gamer. Maybe we could reminisce about the past. I mean, the fact of the matter is that we've tried all of this. We've tried to talk about the way gaming has been. We've tried to educate. And frankly speaking, the battle against ignorance is difficult. It's difficult, long, and frankly speaking, the struggle is real. How do we defeat stupidity, bullshit? How do we beat it? It's a very important question. So, with all that being said, I guess it's time to call an end to this video. Stay tuned to the next video where I'll be talking about how it's getting really old that people keep on spouting informed nonsense about rumors, which is weird as hell. I mean, someone really knows what they're talking about from something that may or may not be. So with that being said, that's the end of this video.